Hey, it's Peter Voogd, and for this YEL episode in this YouTube video, I want to take you behind the scenes from one of my mastermind calls that I did earlier today. And this is a group of individuals who have paid a lot of money to be in our academy, an exclusive group, and these are usually off limits to the public. But there was a part in this training, about a 25-minute part, where I dove into one of the most important exercises that I've ever learned on how to really scale my business and how to create the ultimate competitive advantage. And I also share the unstoppable combination in life and business that has allowed me to reach 7 and 8 figures in my business. And I've never shared it before this call. So enjoy. This is called the 4 levels of focus and impact. And I'm excited for you guys to check it out. Make sure you subscribe below, comment your thoughts. I'd love to create some dialogue in the comments. I appreciate you guys. Hope you enjoy. Now, I want to introduce you to a couple concepts that I've been doing for the last couple of years, and it's going to help you not just figure out your unique talents, but we're going to see where your talents and gifts overlay your action and activities you're doing throughout the week. And I can predict someone's business success and income by looking at these tactics and this 4 level of focus activity I'm going to share. I can literally predict your income by what you're doing weekly, right? So we're going to dive into this. I'm going to go through each specific thing I want you guys to track and cover in your business and your life. Then we're going to do some Q&A. But before we dive in, I want you to understand what stage you're at in your business and what's most important to you. So some people are confused at what stage they're at. There's a lot of stages where you could be on a stage where you're just grinding. You're focused on your sacrifice stage, right? A lot of times if you're not at 6 figures, you're in a sacrifice stage where you still need to work and have abnormal hours where you're working 6-7 days a week. I see too many people try and have a perfect lifestyle and try to create balance when they don't have the structure or systems in place. And that's how you're going to get massively stressed out. And you're going to stretch the time it would take to build a business by months or years because you're taking too many breaks or cutting too many corners. So if you're in a sacrifice stage, you might have to work 60, 70, 80 hours because you don't want to work 100 hours later and you want to work 15 hours, right? Or you're in a stage where you're finally at 6 figures. A lot of you guys are at 6. Some of you guys are even at high 6. Some of you guys are at 7. But if you're at 6 figures, it's like, okay, who do I need to hire? What systems do I need to build? If Liz is on the call, I don't know if Liz is on the call, but Liz went from 80K to 130K to 300K to 600K. She wants to do $1 million this year. And it was different stages that she was at, and what she needed was totally different, going from 80 to 150 and from 150 to 600, right? So you have to know what stage you're at right now in your business before we really dive into this. And I can kind of answer those questions. But so here's the activities, okay? And we spend our time in 4 different zones of this focus and impact quadrant, right? So write these down. Okay, there's high lifetime value activities, high lifetime value, high dollar per hour value, high dollar per hour value, low dollar per hour value, and $0 per hour value, like no value. Almost backwards, right? Things that waste our time and suck up our life. I'm going to go through what each of these are. But write those 4 things down. Remember, everybody has the same 24 hours. Everybody in the world. We have the same 24 hours as Oprah. We have the same 24 hours as LeBron James, as Bill Gates, as Tony Robbins. Right? It's what you do with them and how you look at and treat time, how you value time, what you look at when you look in the mirror as far as what your value, your worth, and your time is. Because if you don't respect your time, it's hard for others to, right? So these are the 4 levels, okay? And we spend our entire life in these 4 zones. And we could either be doing this these high lifetime value activities and these high dollar per hour, or the low dollar per hour, or a mix. Usually people that are only in low dollar and no value are making less than 60, 80K, right? People that are in the high dollar are maybe making a couple 100K, but people that are in that millionaire mark are doing the high lifetime and high dollar value, right? And then delegating everything else. So let me share each of these. So high lifetime value, these are activities that pay you long term. You have to have these if you want to create a passive income to where all your work now will pay off later, so you don't have to trade time for money. If you're only trading time for money, it's a trap, right? So these are activities that pay you long term. Investing, hiring somebody, creating a book, creating an audio program, creating an album, making art. You do them once and they keep paying. Real estate, right? You make the transaction, or you create the product, or you do something that does not pay you now, but it keeps paying you later, right? Keeps paying you later. So I did my audio book, and I don't share stats because I'm not I don't share money stats like a lot of people do. But 6 months to six figures, I created the Audible for it in 2015. Last month, the Audible check was $9K. How do I make $9K? What, 4 years later? I made $0 when I was making that. And that was the biggest headache and frustration. I was sitting there doing the audiobook. I was reading it. It bugged me. It frustrated me, and it was stressful. But I made $9K 4 years later, because at that time I was working on high lifetime value things that I was getting paid nothing for. Most people don't think long-term. They think, how do I get through this week? How do I make money right now? And that's not a game changer way to think. So lifetime value. Also, improving your product, getting a new mentor, joining the academy is a lifetime value thing. Getting a new mentor, developing a new skill set is a lifetime value, right? Anything that you're not paid for in the moment but could increase your value later is a high lifetime value, right? High dollar. These are things that make your cash register ring right now. This is things that bring in money right now, right? Sales, marketing, a campaign, copy for a specific product, right? Speaking, whatever it is, a social media partnership, right? High dollar values, things that make the money come in right now. Maybe a new lead. Maybe if you're in network marketing, maybe it's getting a new customer, right? High dollar value. Low dollar value is busy work, errands, organizing, administrative stuff. A lot of times it's email, files, putting things in file cabinets, stuff you can outsource, scheduling your own appointments, shopping, laundry, that kind of stuff. And just to be very blunt with you guys, it's weird to hear, and it was weird for me to hear, but most millionaires that really value their time and value their business and value their family, they don't do a lot of that stuff because it's so easy to outsource. And at the beginning, it feels weird. Like, am I acting too cool to not mow my lawn? No, you're acting very cool because you're doing things that light you up. You're spending more time with your kids versus doing something that could be delegated for 20 bucks an hour, right? So that's low dollar value work. Then there's $0. This is stuff that almost makes you go backwards. Things that waste our time and suck up our life, right? Doing them has almost a negative value, right? Gossiping, watching TV, gossiping, junk food, I don't know. But they actually make our lives sometimes go backwards. Usually I see these as escaping reality. And a lot of people, if they don't like their current reality, they want to escape it. But the problem is when you go back to reality, it's always worse, right? So if you don't love your reality right now, you definitely don't want to escape it. You want to do all you can to improve it. And if improvement means income, focus on the high value. If the improvement means relationships, then focus on relationships, right? But this takes time and energy and gives nothing in return, right? Reading the news, social media without getting a return. If you're just so there's posting and there's scrolling, right? Most people scroll. Most people compare themselves to everyone else on social. Game changers get on and post, engage, and get off, right? So I want you to think about the last 7 days. right? What activities have you executed? Now, we're not going to do this on this call live, but I really want you to understand and to really track in the last 7 days, all the activities you've done. I want you to write them down and track them. Okay. If you want to get really deep dive, I would do the last 30 days. I remember doing this for the first time, and 90% of my activities were no value or low dollar value. And I was so dumbfounded in the moment before I did this activity why I wasn't making money. I was like, what the heck? I'm working 80 hours. It's not about the hours you work. It's about what you're doing and the energy you're putting towards the right activities, right? That's why you see a lot of millionaires, yes, they work hard, but some of them aren't working as hard as people that are making 6 figures. They're the ones that are like chicken with their head cut off, right? Because they're not focusing on the highest dollar and high legacy. So I want you guys to really think about what activities you've spent most of your time doing: high dollar, low dollar, zero, or legacy. And you have to define for your business, what are the top couple legacy things you can do, high lifetime? What are the top high dollar that have proven to make the cash register ring, have proven to really make you money? Profit producing activities. These are the things that often you don't want to do, but you know they really move the business forward. As we talked about last mastermind, there are things that just maintain your business. And some of this stuff isn't sexy. It's not exciting to talk about, but it's what must be created if you want what's on the other side of this work, which is the lifestyle, the impact, the legacy, the financial freedom, right? So define what the highest dollar value is for your business. Okay. And then define some of the low dollar work. And like I talked about, there's things that maintain your business that just keep it going. Then there's things that produce growth and success and build momentum. Those are the high lifetime, high dollar, right? And the low dollar, low value are the things that just maintain. That should be delegated. And in the call with Chris Ducker about virtual freedom and about hiring and delegating and finding virtual assistants, he really dives into that as well. Okay. So as far as business goes, I want you guys to track these activities because it'll tell you a lot about where you're at and why. But I'm usually focused on reach, relationships, and revenue. In business, reach, how to reach more people, how to connect and network with better people and higher level people, and obviously how to create revenue, because the revenue goes back in the business to expand the reach and relationships. But I want you to consider, I'm going to give you some ideas on things that really do move the needle for your business. So, and then if you have any questions, let me know. I see some chat right here. I'll look at that in a second. I just want to finish some of this stuff so you guys get this. There's really only 3 ways to grow the business if you have an operating business right now. You can increase the number of clients, increase the average sale price, or you can increase the number of times they buy in a year. Most people, 90%, focus on increasing the number of clients. And that's one of the least effective and sometimes the least profitable. So what can you do to increase the other 2 methods? I've seen a lot of people make it a condition to give referrals to their business. It's a condition. Like if they do business, if I do well, I need referrals, right? So delivering higher levels of expected service, right? Increasing your conversion rate, acquiring clients up front for a break even to make a profit on the back end, figuring out what target audience has access to your market and leveraging other people's platforms. One of your questions, Julie, that's one of the answers, which I'll talk about separately. But what about increasing your average transaction? Most people on the academy, when they first go on, if we have a conversation, they just need to lower their prices. They're undercutting their value. That's a lot of people. They're undercutting their value. If you think about the value that you can give someone and quantify what they would make if they took that value, or if they took the advice you gave them, you need to base it off that and don't get wrapped up in your insecurities and maybe your past experiences. You want to become so valuable that you feel good charging people, right? A premium. Maybe it's introducing other people's products to your list. If you have an influence, special event, packaging services together. These are things that could be high dollar, high lifetime value, right? So what I want you to do now is literally first, second, third, and fourth. I want you to write some of these down, not the ones from the last 7 days. That's separate. I just want you to write down some things that you do or some things that have been in your life business, schedule, weekly focus that are in each of these. Okay. Let's help figure out what you should be doing. Not only will this give you a lot more leverage, it'll give you a lot more enjoyment, fulfillment, and personal success. Okay. So write down the first thing. And you can even share, let's share some of these. What are some things that you've done in your past or things that you know you want to do that are high lifetime? What are things that are going to really, really move the needle in 6 months to a year or 2 or 3 years? So I'm looking at Tim's face right now. He wrote a book and got paid $0 to write that book. 0. But now I see it everywhere. He has a podcast from it. People buy the book. They hire him for consulting. They do all kinds of stuff from the book. So now it makes money, right? So Justin and I, who's on the call, we have a journal called the Achieving Autonomy Journal, which took us, a headache. How long did it take? A year? And it was back and forth. And I love it. Who has it? Is that Terry? You have it too. So I use this every day, and it took a lot of headache. And it took a lot of headache for $0. Actually, we were in the hole. So it took headache and we were paying money out, right? But we knew this was a legacy play that our kids will eventually see, that we might make $5,000 for in 10 years. And most people just don't think legacy like that, right? So what are some things that you can do, right? Legacy-wise. Just write those down. Now let's write down high dollar per value. I'll give you guys some time. High dollar per hour value. Just a couple, 4 to 5 things each. Four to five things each. This next part will kind of put it all together and blow your mind a little bit. And I'm proud to the fact that before I teach something, I make sure I've used it and I've gotten results. I don't teach something I learned in a book that I've never executed or actually have done. Mark's always on the go. What's up, Mark? What do you consider low dollar versus high dollar? It really depends. Like low dollar for me are things that produce or that don't produce growth, that just maintain. So it could be $50 an hour, $100 an hour. And back in the day, it was $20 an hour was high dollar value when I was brand new. So once again, that's why I said at the beginning, Julie, good question. It depends on what stage you're at in your business, right? If someone's like, hey, I'll pay you $100 an hour to do to focus on whatever you're good at, which is maybe speaking or copywriting, I'll pay you $100 an hour. If you're excited about that, that might be high dollar value, right? So for me, if someone's like, I'll pay you $1,000 an hour to edit my video, I'd say 0% chance, right? Because I don't edit, and $1,000 an hour is not worth lack of peace of mind. So one of my highest values is peace of mind. So when something comes across my desk, I say, is this going to contribute to my peace of mind or contaminate it? If it contaminates it, I don't care if it's $1,000 an hour, it's not worth it, right? So it just depends on what stage you're at and what your highest values are. And what business you're into. Now, third, low dollar, and then zero value. What do you do that's zero value? Now, it's okay to deserve relaxation, Netflix, going to a baseball game. I'm not saying don't. Now, the old me was like, don't do any of that. You got to always be grinding or doing something productive. That's the old me, right? I've grown and realized that it's fun to do that, but I do not enjoy myself if I escape reality, take time off, if I know I didn't deserve it, or give my all the week before, or get some specific results, or know I was as efficient and effective with my time as possible, right? So I like to deserve my success and deserve the time off. So usually $0 are things that people do that just do not move their life and business forward. And my philosophy is this: if you're not where you want to be, if you're not at least at a certain level of success, I don't know what for you that is, you should not be escaping reality. Like when I was in the grind and I was really sacrificing and I didn't have the money I wanted and I didn't have choices and someone else told me what I was worth and what to do, I didn't watch 1 ounce of TV. I even missed some family events and I was sacrificing, but I was willing to work 100 hours so I could eventually work 5 and do what I want on my terms, right? But that was me, right? That's my personality and that's my philosophy. So you have to know yours. Just make sure your philosophy and your perspectives are serving you well. A lot of people's philosophies from their past are not serving them, right? So you got to figure out if it's serving you or not. Now what I want you to do, I'm going to try to, I've never done this, the share screen. I'm going to try to do this whiteboard. Tell me that you guys can see this. Can you guys see this? Give me a thumbs up if you could see it. Cool. I'm not an artist, by the way. All right. Let me find the... Okay, so here we go. You're going to draw 2 circles like this. Okay, draw 2 circles and overlap them. This changed my life. I'm not joking. So make sure you do this. Okay. So over here, let me move this. Strengths, gifts. Okay, things you love. Right there is strengths and gifts. Things that you love, things that you're excited about, things that you know that you were an expert in, or at least you enjoy doing. It's things that are going to keep you engaged and excited doing the same things in 5 years. Like if I'm speaking in 5 years, I'm excited. If I'm on stage when I'm 70, I'm pumped. If I'm networking and connecting with people, like if I'm doing a small workshop in 10 years with like a small group of entrepreneurs that are proven that love their business and that want to grow, I'm pumped, right? Now on this side, high lifetime, high dollar. Okay. Strengths and gifts, after the call, you're going to write all your strengths and gifts down. On the other side, you're going to write all your high lifetime, high dollar value activities down. Okay. This is the sweet spot. You have to figure out how to be operating and executing at that sweet spot at all times. That's when you're the most resourceful, you're the most focused, you're the most alive, you're the happiest, you're the most excited. But so many people are not doing things that are their gift and they're focusing on low dollar value and they have 0 sweet spot and they wonder why they're stressed. So you have to, your sweet spot is how you get the 7 figures and how you say at the end of 7 figures, oh my gosh, it actually was easier getting the 7 than it was to get the 6. I used to feel bad telling people like, dude, getting a 7 was easier than 6 because it made me look kind of like a jerk in a way, but that's just the facts, right? And you're not going to get the 7 figures doing more of what got you 6. You have to do something different. You have to figure out the high dollar. And a lot of times the high lifetime and high dollar are hiring people, creating systems. Maybe it's a new funnel, and your strengths and gifts are what you know your strengths and gifts are. And those can be strengthened based off mastery and focus. But in between there is your sweet spot. That's the power of this activity, is figuring out the high lifetime, high dollar and your strengths and gifts. And the sweet spot's where the money comes in, but also where you're the most alive and most resourceful. So in the next 10 years, you've had such a different life because you're working on things you love. Has everyone got that? Huge game changer. Can you guys see me again? Cool. Okay, so if you work from the high value, you'll have financial freedom. But if you focus on strengths too, you'll feel good about it. We all know people that have financial freedom that don't like their life or don't have any lifestyle or they're unhappy. Millionaires and billionaires that have a team of 10,000 people that always have problems and lawsuits and frustrations. They've focused on the high dollar, high lifetime, but not their strengths and gifts, right? So you want to overlap these two, and that creates long-term future success that combines with what you're good at, in which you're enjoying everything, and that's where the biggest rewards come from. So ask yourself, what are you really good at that is actually a high priority inside your business? Probably should only be like 2 or 3 things on that list. So you've done something pretty powerful here that very few people have done, right? You've found out what you've done that's high leverage and high value and high dollar. And you've also identified the low leverage and low dollar. And you've found an overlap of what you're really good at and what moves the needle forward. Now, like I say, you don't need to have the answer. So if you don't know what's next in your business, you need to have someone on this call or someone in the academy or me help you to where you don't have to figure out the answer, right? Your network has to have it. So here's the goal. Write this down, then we'll do some Q&A. The tip here is steal time from your low dollar value and zero or negative value activities and invest in your higher value work in life and business. So this is the fastest way to increase your productivity. So literally steal time from low value, no value, and change it and increase the time you spend on the high value, high lifetime. And that's the game changer, okay? Something simple, but if you're not operating at peak productivity, your time's gonna go by anyways, and you're just wasting time. That's why it's so important to define your end result, where you're going. Make sure it's based on your values and based on all the things that are important to you. If scalability and lifestyle and growth is important, but you're at a job that's capped, you're always gonna be stressed out living incongruently, right? So you gotta make sure what you have is endless possibilities and matches your values. Okay, so steal time from your low dollar, $0 value activities and invest in the higher value activities. Hey, what's up guys? If you liked this video, I think you'll really enjoy these videos right here. And also please make sure you subscribe, hit the subscribe button below. We have a lot of amazing content coming out. See you guys soon.